Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Laura, for those of you that do not know, and today's video is going to be dedicated to one of my favorite YA contemporary authors, and that is Kasie West. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about her books here on my channel before. She writes super fun, super fast-paced, romancy, contemporary books, and I've been asked quite a few times if I could kind of do like a breakdown of all of her books and kind of just have one video where I talk about all of them and the plots and all of them and just kind of what you should know going into her books. So today, that's what I'm going to be doing. I have all of her books here, you guys. I have all of her books here to share and discuss with you guys. So I'm going to tell you guys what you need to know about Kasie West if you've never read from her before, or maybe you've only read like one of her books before. I got you covered. So Kasie West has been writing young adult books since 2013, and her first debut novel was Pivot Point, which is actually part of a duology and is very unlike all of her other books. So I'm going to cover that first. Pivot Point is actually set in this world where a lot of the characters have these abilities, including our main character, whose name is Addie. Our main character's ability is that she is a searcher, which means that when she's faced with an issue or a problem or something that she needs to make a decision on, she can look into the future and see both outcomes of what she could do, and then she can decide based on her tellings. But when her parents get divorced, her dad decides to live outside of the compound with the norms, the normal people, and so she's gonna have a little bit of life experience outside of this realm of people with abilities. So that's kind of what this book has to do with. I'm actually currently reading this book. I've had this book for so long, and it's the only one by her that I haven't read. This and the second book, which is called Split Second. I actually don't have that book. That's the only one of hers that I don't own, but after I finish this one, I'm sure I'm gonna want to read it, so I'll probably pick that up in the very near future. But yeah, that is Pivot Point. This was her first book that came out. The next book that she published is The Distance Between Us, and before I get into what this book is about, I just want to really quickly point out that all of her books beyond Split Second and Pivot Point, which is a duology, all of her other books are standalones. I know that these, like, they kind of look like they go together, like there's the two people on the cover with like the words. They look like they're a part of like a companion novel series or something of that sort. They're not. They're all standalone novels, even though the covers look super similar. I've had people ask me that question before, so I just thought I would throw that in there. But this is her second published book. It's called The Distance Between Us, and it follows a girl named Cayman who lives with her mother in this town that's basically made for rich people. If you live in the town, you're either rich or you're there to serve the rich, and her mother have a little shop that has porcelain dolls in it, and they live in a small apartment above the shop. And her mother has always told her, don't trust the rich boys, because one of the rich boys got her pregnant and then left her, which is Cayman's dad, obviously. But when this boy comes into the porcelain shop named Xander, you know, Cayman really can't seem to stay away, and he's this rich boy and she doesn't know what to do, but they start having a little bit of a connection, and that's kind of the gist of this one. I really enjoyed this book. All of her books, I'm going to tell you right now, are solid 4 to 4.5 reads for me. I rate my books based on like enjoyment and, you know, overall contentness after I finish it. If you decide to rate your books, you know, critically or upon something totally different than enjoyment like I do, your ratings might be different. Maybe you give all of her books 5 stars or all of them 3 stars or 2 stars or whatever. It really just depends. All of her books have a very similar writing style, very similar themes about friendship and love, and I actually do find that her books, even though it's like white people on the cover, a lot of her books do contain diverse elements. I'm not saying that she's like the queen of diversity whatsoever, but I feel like compared to a lot of other romancy contemporary YA books, she does tend to go outside the realm of like white teenagers, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, The Distance Between Us was her next novel. After that one is when Split Second came out, which is the second to Pivot Point, but I don't have that one, so we're gonna skip it. Next book we have is On the Fence, and this is a really great one. It's about a girl named Charlie who has always lived with her father and her brothers. Her mother passed away when she was younger, and she's always kind of been like one of the boys, if you know what I mean, like played sports and like, you know, always hung out with boys, and she's not very girly, so she starts working at this boutique and starts, you know, making little changes here and there. Charlie's neighbor is actually one of her brother's best friends, and at night sometimes she'll go down to the fence in their yard and just kind of sit there to think, and one night she finds herself there with her brother's best friend, and they start talking and they grow this connection, and they always have these like fence talks. It's a really cute book. I actually read this for Booktubeathon last year and I loved it so much, so a really cute one as well. Next book on the list is the Fillin Boyfriend, which is actually the first Kasie West book that I ever read, and I actually recently reread it as well because I just wanted to read it. I hadn't read it since 2015, I think, when it came out. So this book is about a girl named Gia who has this group of friends who's kind of stuck up. Gia has this boyfriend from college and her friends kind of don't believe her that she has a boyfriend. So when she shows up with her boyfriend at prom and then he breaks up with her in the parking lot, she's like, great, now my friends are never gonna believe that I ever had a boyfriend. And so when she sees this guy sitting in his car waiting outside the prom, she goes up to him and suggests this plan that he'll come in to the prom with her and pretend to be her boyfriend. And weirdly enough, he agrees, and from then on, they kind of owe each other favors. They'll pretend to be dates for each other, and I'm sure you could guess where it's gonna go. There's some crazy stuff in this. It deals with a lot of friendship. The friends in this book, I was just rereading it, really annoy me. I feel like Gia needs to find herself some better friends in college, okay? But I did like the book. I thought it was enjoyable. I gave it 4 stars. Again, at the end of telling you about all the books, I will tell you which ones are my favorite, but this is definitely a good one. Next book I have is P.S. I Like You. This one has to do with a girl named Lily who one day, I think in history class or some class, she starts scribbling like lyrics to this band that she likes on the desk. And the next day when she comes in, someone like finished her lyrics, and sooner or later her and this mysterious person start writing messages to each other, and they actually end up like writing on paper and sticking it under the desk, and then each day they retrieve it and reply to each other, and she doesn't know who it is. And I think that's enough. Like, I don't really need to say much else except it's like cute and like it stems from there basically. I don't want to give away too much about who it is or anything, so you'll find out if you read it, but this is a really fun one as well, and it was really enjoyable to read. Next book is called By Your Side. This follows a girl named Autumn who gets locked in a library for the weekend, and she doesn't know what to do. She's stuck in this library. All of her friends left and they probably thought that she was with them. They took like 2 cars. It was this whole situation. So she's stuck in this library because all the doors are locked from the outside, and then she realizes that she's stuck with this boy Dax, who she knows from school. He's kind of like the outcast, kind of weird. She doesn't really like know him, not really friends with him at all, and she's stuck with him the whole weekend. What could possibly happen? You'll find out if you read this book. I don't want to go into too much again with this one because it's just kind of like a very basic plot, you know? So if you read this one, that's really all you need to know. Again, really cute and fun, like all of her books. I really don't need to say that at this point. That's just kind of all of her books, so yeah, that's By Your Side. Next book is called Lucky in Love. This book follows a girl named Maddie whose priorities in life are like school, family, and figuring out how she's going to afford college. And then one day on her birthday, on her 18th birthday, she wins the lottery and becomes a millionaire overnight. A billionaire? A millionaire? I don't remember how much she wins, but it's a lot. And she kind of has to deal with how people treat her differently at school and her family treating her different. But there's this one boy named Seth. There's this one boy named Seth who she works with at the zoo, and he doesn't know. She doesn't want to tell him because he treats her like normal and she really likes him. So she's kind of keeping the secret that she won the lottery from him while dealing with everything at school and stuff like that. This was a fun one as well. I really did enjoy it. Again, that's probably all you need to know, but yeah, I love these covers. Kasie West books have the cutest covers, do they not? Next book is Love, Life, and the List. This is actually one that I read recently in my 24-hour reading vlog, so if you haven't watched that, I'll have it linked down below. I read it in that one day. This follows a girl named Abby who has this little friend group. There's 4 of them, but 2 of them end up going away for the whole summer, and the one that she's left with is her friend Cooper, who she secretly had a crush on forever. She tried to tell him the summer before, and he kind of like laughed it off, and she kind of pretended she was kidding, so she doesn't really know where she stands with him. She's also an artist, and she's trying to get into this art competition, but the person that is running it, who's her boss at the art museum she works at, tells her that she doesn't have enough heart in her paintings and that she hasn't experienced enough life to be a true painter. Her and Cooper decide to make this list of things that they're going to do during the summer to try and broaden their horizons, and that's kind of what happens. It follows their summer. It's really fun. I just recently read it, so it's pretty fresh in my mind, and it was definitely an enjoyable read, so this was a really good one. And Kasie West's latest release is called Listen to Your Heart. This was a super fun one about this girl named Kate who is a senior or a junior, a senior, a senior in high school, a junior in high school. I don't know. She's in high school, but she's in this podcasting class, and she just decided to take it with her friend because her friend really wanted to do it. And she thinks that she's just gonna like slide by and just kind of do like background work. But when her topic, which is doing an advice column, gets chosen, she has to be the person that does the podcast, because whoever wins the topic, I guess, gets to be the host. So she ends up being a co-host for this podcast, giving people in her school advice, and it actually ends up working out better than she thought it would. And of course there's stuff that has to do with a boy. I mean, why would it not? It's a Kasie West book, so you'll have to read more to see. I really didn't know a single thing going into this book, and I read it in one sitting. It was that good, so I really enjoyed this one. Before I tell you guys which books are my favorite and which ones I recommend the most to you, I also want to point out that Kasie West has a book coming out in October 30th. It's actually not just her, it's her and 3 other authors. The book is called Snow in Love, and it's like a book of short stories, and she has written one of the short stories, so that's coming out in October. And she also just announced that her newest book, called Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss, is coming out in February 5th, 2019. So that's really exciting. Kind of sad I have to wait till February for a new book from her, but really exciting. So those are 2 books that are on the horizon for her as well. Okay, so taking out Pivot Point, because I haven't finished it yet, I'm gonna go ahead and rank these in my order from least favorite to favorite. I don't know if this makes sense. I gave all of them the same star rating, but I still have favorites. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and rank these, and then I'll share with you guys my rank. Okay, this is my ranking from favorite to least favorite. I'll explain it better. Okay, so my favorite is By Your Side. This is the one where she gets locked in the library. That's my favorite. My second favorite is The Distance Between Us, about the girl that lives in like the rich people town. I'm just giving really basic summaries so you guys remember what I'm talking about. Listen to Your Heart, which is her newest release, is my third favorite. Loved that one. After that, it's gotta be The Fillin Boyfriend, a classic. Love this one a lot. After that, we have On the Fence, another great one. We have P.S. I Like You. We have Love, Life, and The List. And then lastly, we have Lucky in Love. And that's not saying I disliked Lucky in Love. I did give it either 3 or 4 stars. I might have given this one 3. This one I did enjoy. This is the one about the girl that wins the lottery. I did enjoy it, just less. I think I didn't connect with the characters in this one as much, but that definitely doesn't mean that you won't or you won't like it. The girl in this book, she's just like super uptight, and all she cares about is school in high school, and I was not like that in high school. So it just isn't relatable, but maybe one of you would enjoy this one more than I did. I still really liked it though. So that is my ranking for my Kasie West books. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions regarding Kasie West and her books, other than like the synopsises and how much I liked them, if you have any other questions, definitely let me know in a comment down below, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But I hope this video was helpful for those of you that did request it, because I saw a lot of you asking if I could do a video like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!